I'd been sent. As if I was a person in need of being sent someplace other than where I was. Where I was with a woman I thought needed me. It's not like she ever said she needed me. What she said was, come home with me. She only said it once. It didn't bear repeating, or she couldn't bear to repeat it. It comes to much the same. I thought maybe I was a writer. She thought I was a person in need of advice. She said, go see this guy Jack read at the bookstore. He's a writer, she said, in a tone that implied maybe I wasn't. The bookstore is jam-packed. Just the fact that there is a bookstore is surprising. That it's filled with people adds to my surprise and my irritation. One more example of excited people gathered to see someone who is not me. Like I need more examples. There are far more women than men. I figure this Jack guy is one of those handsome writers. Fucking handsome writer, I muttered to myself. Although no one has yet appeared. Many in the crowd seem to know each other. There is that whisper of anticipation. I hate that. A lady in a floral blouse, black pants, and masculine-looking shoes arrives at the podium. First thing that pops into my head, if she's going to wear shoes like that, why not dispense with the flowery top? Where's the consistency? I'm angry with everyone. You can be pissed off at a literary reading in exactly the same way you can be pissed off in stop-and-go traffic. I keep making discoveries like this. It is not uplifting. The woman starts gabbing about the wonders of this Jack guy, telling a story of being at a workshop of his where he forbade her to leave until she put down on paper her real and true feelings. Feelings about what she doesn't go into, and for that small mercy I am grateful. The whole thing sounds sexual to me, like he's the literary dungeon master and she's the enslaved wench clutching her moleskin. That might just be my weird perspective, and I'd like to be free of weird perspectives, but in a way they're the only ones I have. She goes on to explain how the restriction was enforced for 24 hours and how she was not allowed to leave the room until the task was accomplished. Jack watched over her even when nature called. Just gets more and more sexual sounding to me, and I start to expect gasps from the audience, but everyone seems enthralled. You know, in the way scholarly people are enthralled. Not in the way titillated people are enthralled, which has a whole different vibe. I start to think of the scenarios she's describing as a type of imprisonment for art, with an arousing subtext I don't altogether understand, but which is starting to arouse me, and that totally changes my attitude. I feel I've been converted. I'm thinking like, lock me up and throw away the key until I produce something resembling art. Maybe that's why the bookstore is packed to the rafters. The great jailer of aspiring writers is here in the flesh. So now I start to wish he'd capture me, which shows how far you can come in terms of mood change in a short period of time. I totally forgive the lady's poor sense of style and remember that I'm no fashion model myself. I too kind of want to follow her to the bathroom until she produces another piece of authentic prose. Before I can take those thoughts further, a new woman comes out to replace the one in men's shoes. This new woman is a whole other thing. She's like biker mama, beat poet, Latin teacher, all in one. How is that possible, you ask? I ask myself the same thing. Hi, my name is Belinda. I'm Jack's wife, and you are not, she says. I'm thinking, very unusual introduction. The crowd laughs appreciatively, like, how cute is that? She wears a black leather jacket over a scuffed white t-shirt as if she's been under the car or messing with the bike. And a red skirt that is too small in just the way you might hope for it to be too small. She is entirely alluring in a completely puzzling way. I won't keep you, she says. I want her to keep me. Here he is now, she says, and extends her arm out in the direction of a man who is anything but handsome. He is untidy and old, late 60s maybe. From the waist down, rock and roll has-been, black jeans, yellow Converse sneakers. From the waist up, contractor whose bid you'd never trust. Plaid work shirt, poor-fitting denim jacket, pockets bulging with notepaper. Good evening, he says, in that relaxed style of a welcomed monarch. Really have trouble with relaxed people. Belinda slinks off, which I'm not happy about. I strain my neck to see where she went, but can't find her. I hope you will bear with me while I read a handful of poems, Jack says. I hate the not very credible modesty that accompanies the massively accomplished. Although in my head I'm preparing myself to sound courteous and underwhelmed, should I ever come face to face with an adoring crowd. They bear with him all right. An almost reverent silence falls over the place. I feel a cough coming on, but suppress it. I don't want to be the noise-making heretic, drawing attention away from literature incarnate. Jack reads his handful. One describes the facade of a building slated for demolition. The building has something to do with the ankles of a raven-haired newlywed, already unsure about her marriage. It's poetry, so you can connect any ass thing together you want. I'm not complaining. Actually, I'm taken with it, falling under the spell or whatever. In another of his poems, a man in the upstairs bedroom of his house studies a nude photo of a girlfriend who has stopped calling while homeless youths break his car windows and steal the vehicle. I can relate to that, but I'm not sure why. I rely on public transport, and no one I know has left me with a nude photo. A few of the women in the audience look moved or disturbed. I can't tell which. One is teary. I want to be able to write poems that make women teary. That would be cool, and that would be important or something. My trouble is I always want to do what someone else is able to do. Jack is done with the poems and the Q&A is starting up. My hand goes up automatically, like it's doing it without my consent. Jack goes right for me, looking me dead in the eye, and I feel shaky. What's your question, he says, on account of me not having said anything. Oh, I say, I feel desperate and afraid that no more words are coming. Well, I was wondering if there are particular times of the day that work best for you. To what, he says. I swear I hear faint laughter coming from the crowd. Oh, fuck, I say. Yes, I actually say, oh, fuck. To write, of course, sorry. You can imagine how I'm feeling because, yeah, public humiliation has never been among my favorite things. I like your question, he says. He says it so personally, so sincerely, like he's been waiting a lifetime for me to show up and ask one of the most over-asked, brain-dead questions writers get asked all the time. But the faint laughter is history now. A A respectful silence has returned. It's nighttime for me. Too late at night to tell you the truth. Interferes with my sleep, aggravates my wife, makes me grumpy the next morning, but it's the only time I can manage it, he says. He's speaking to me with such regard, I'm getting warm. I watch his lips, I adjust my seat. Suddenly posture seems important. I want my posture to say, thank you, you're a genius, you pulled me from the fire, I freaking love you. I raise my shoulders, I straighten my spine, no more slumping for me. When he's done reading, I head like a man on a mission over to the counter to buy his book of poems. I hold that book of poems close to my chest, thinking irrationally that it may be taken from me by a truly informed literary type who is sure I won't know how to make proper use of it. Bravo!